What's going on, everyone? I was coming up with idea, trying to come up with the idea of what am I going to talk about today? What topic am I gonna talk about? And I got an old blog. It's not that old, but it's a blogger. It's basically brokegenius.blogspot.com, and I've been it's not that old, but it's a blogger. So I pretty much from that blog, I've been writing on that blog for about 5 years, at least 5 years, maybe even longer. And I got a lot of topics that in articles that I post. It's like a repository slash just personal blog with different articles, and as well as I've written my own articles. And a lot of times people ask, why do you name yourself Broke Genius? Why you gotta get rid of the moniker Broke? I mean, yeah, I pretty much, I know that, that's something most people would not live up to, the fact that you know, their actual um, status or where they are in life as far as their personal finance. I mean, I do. I choose to basically own my strengths and my weaknesses, and that's partly why I named myself that. Most people are broke, and that is something that a lot of people don't really want to talk about. Most people are broke, and what I define broke is someone, well, financially broke, like someone that is anywhere from paycheck to paycheck to, even if you have, I mean, if you basically, you could, it doesn't really even, I mean, it could be up to, you could have $50,000 in your bank and still be broke. You can have 10,000. I mean, or less, because what I define broke is that you don't have the capital to basically take care of most basic or even beyond basic needs, such as you don't have enough money to buy a house. When I say buy a house, I'm not talking about buy a loan or get a loan from a mortgage company. You don't have to, you don't have enough money to actually buy a house. You don't have enough money to um, get a decent car. You don't have enough money to pay for, even like if you have children, without getting any federal aid. Um, you just don't have, you fall short with basic needs. Now, if you do have money, let's say you have a house that you own, that you live in, and you have $5,000 in the bank. I mean, you're not necessarily rich, but I mean, I don't consider someone like that broke either. But I mean, some people have a wide definition of who's broke, who's poor, who's rich, who's wealthy. You know, I look at the, the factor of, I would say, $100,000, $100,000 capital, um, net worth. You're not broke. Maybe 50K, depending on where you live. Like if you lived in Mississippi and you got $50,000 cash, no debt, you're not broke. You got enough money to buy a house, buy a decent car, place, take care of yourself fairly well. Depending on where you are. I mean, if you got $100,000 in New York, you have to rent, most likely. In Manhattan and or near Manhattan, Brooklyn, all of those, um, little enclaves in New York. So $100,000 is not gonna do it. But in Chicagoland, in the Midwest, you could just even say $100,000, you're not broke. You're not broke with 100,000 if you just basically buy a basic house. You buy yourself a vehicle. You're not broke if you got $100,000 in the Midwest. California, $100,000, you got to rent. I've looked at real estate listings in California to live in the hood where Snoop Dogg used to shoot his videos with Gin and Juice and Dr. Dre and all them. To live in the hood, you gotta spend $500,000 for a house in the ghetto. That's how bad it is in California. So I mean, it just depends. Your broke is different depending on where you are. You know, you could be in Africa or Nigeria and have 30,000 and could be damn near rich. I mean, you know, someone was viewing my video and I mentioned Africa and they jumped right off the laugh. That's hilarious. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you're broke depending on where you are in, you know, the world, but primarily when I'm speaking in the United States, it varies. But in my particular locality, I would consider 100K net worth, no debt, zero debt. That will make me release the moniker broke out of my equation. I'll just be the genius, or I'll spice it up, you know. And I mean, you can take care of that. I don't know what the limits on Cash App is. I mean, you know, pretty much I need about 160 people to cash at me $1,000. I'll release the broke genius moniker. It'll just be the genius or something like that. I mean, I'll probably even release a rap video for you. I mean, that's what I think that is in my locality the amount of money, liquid capital, to not be considered broke. So in that essence, I would say 90%, 80% of people are broke in the United States. They just don't want to talk about it. Some people don't want to talk about it at all. But most people are, trust me, trust and believe, most people are broke. And they just don't want to talk about it. Male and female, broke as fuck. Literally. Okay? Just don't want to talk about it. It's a taboo subject. People probably talk about sex before they talk about how broke they are. Okay? So, I mean, it's not so much, like I say, why people ask me, why do you call yourself the broke genius? Because I don't want to live in fantasy. You know, if I wasn't broke, I wouldn't even make a big deal out of it. But I am, so in order to deal with the problem, I face reality. I choose to face reality. Some people choose to live in fantasy land. Some people like people say, people celebrate. People go on the club and, pop bottles and stuff, celebrating failure. I choose to not celebrate failure. I only want to, celebrate when it's something to celebrate about. And I choose reality over fantasy. I've lived in fantasy too long to be living in fantasy land. I choose to call myself the broke genius because I'm broke. Like I say again, I just need 160 people. That's a small amount. 160 people cash at me $1,000. This broke moniker is done. It's gone. I'm no longer the broke genius. I mean, basically, shoot my student loans, shoot them a check for what I owe them. Probably try to negotiate and get that loan off. Then the other 100 grand left, I'll basically pay off my house, fix it up, buy another house. I am no longer broke. I'm no longer the broke genius at that point. 160 people cash at me, basically $1,000. and I wouldn't. I will. I mark my word. I will never be the broke genius again. So help me God, unless just something happens and then I lose everything, and which happens. But for the most part, with what I know, 160K, I'm no longer broke, bro. Where I live, I can buy a decent house. I can pay all my debts off. I'm no longer broke. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm still the broke genius. I'm still, pretty much at the point where I'm trying to get out of it. I'm trying to do better every day. But like I said, when I was coming up with the topics of why, what I wanted to talk about today, I had to pull this article that I wrote on my blog, brokegenius.blogspot.com, 5 reasons why I'm broke. And pretty much that is, and I'll post the link of this in my blog once I'm done with this video. But basically, I wrote, this was back in 2016. Some of this does not apply because I have since then. Hold on, I got somebody saying something. What class are you referring to? Poor people. Have always been broke. That's why they're classified as poor. So I mean, it's always gonna be poor people. It's always gonna be broke people. It's just it's just nature. I mean, it's always gonna be winners and losers in nature. I mean, that is what I'm referring to. Broke is very, very poor. To answer your question. So yeah, I mean, like I say, I was coming up with this, what I should talk about, and this article that I wrote back in 2016 on my blog, 5 reasons why I'm broke. Is very relevant to that today, because a lot of factors of why someone is, in a certain situation, it's not necessarily monetarily. A lot of it is emotional, as well as like how you think, like cognitive, just blockage, mental blockages, stuff like that. But since then, a lot of these 5 reasons, I've changed a lot. I don't have these problems that much as I did back in 2016. And since I've been writing the Millionaire Savings Plan, I pretty much have worked on a lot of these problems that I'm going to mention in this article that I wrote back in 2016. But a lot of them are still relevant, and I'm still working on them. But I found it very interesting. I mean, because a lot of people ask me, why do you call yourself the broke genius? And this article kind of zeroes in on the root of like why I am broke. This is what I wrote back in 2016, and I'm gonna read it off to you, and you can see kind of why I was broke for a long time, and I'm still broke, and I'm trying to get out of being broke. But like I say, I am definitely not the only one. Most people are broke. Like I say, I mean, how many people have $100,000 in a bank account, or $100,000, capital, minus, basically in no debt, or 50K, or like in the case of New York and LA, which are very hot markets. I mean, you have to probably have $1 million to not be broke in New York and LA. I mean, I can't say nothing less. Maybe 800,000. I'm talking about liquid, no debt. So most people are broke. They just don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. but I choose to admit my faults as well as my strengths. But I'm gonna read this article. Number 5 reason why I'm broke is choosing freedom over financial success. Um, Many instances, I pretty much I've just quit jobs. I've stopped doing things. I stopped going to school. I stopped um, just all kinds of things that will probably most likely have made me more money than what I've gotten. And basically, I chose my freedom over financial success. Many instances. Um, you know, I've done quite a bit over the years. I've bought on real estate. I've started businesses. I had a computer store at one time in the Chicago area. I passed Navy boot camp. I was in the Navy. I mean, I've done all kind of things, but I've many instances chose freedom over capital. And that's the number 5 reason why I am broke. Um, I mean, just just basically just taking sabbaticals from work and just choosing to be just slightly broke or broke or broker, shall I say, over having a little money from a job, from um, any type of endeavor that I was doing that I stopped to have more freedom. But yeah, number 4 is like a little bit more of a personal side. I chose to basically be isolated. I mean, I like isolation because I'm an introvert. I'm not an extrovert. I can't mingle. I can be social. I have no problems with that. But deep down, I'm an introvert. I just learned to deal with it and understand it. It is what it is. But being in isolation, uh, just staying introverted is terrible for business. Business, you have to really get out there, talk to people, network, form partnerships. The old moniker, basically, um, a closed mouth don't get fed. That literally is business. A closed mouth does not get fed. You have to get out there. You have to talk to people. You have to engage, new customers, new clients. That's business. So if you're going on your own and you're not doing that, your business is not getting the amount of exposure that it needs, because you either got to pay somebody to do it or you got to do it yourself. And if you're not paying anybody to do it and you're just, being quiet and being isolated and wondering why you're not getting any customers or clients, um, that just, pretty much it is what it is. You're not engaging into people. You're just kind of just being on your own, and it just doesn't work like that. So yeah, moving along, number 3 third reason why I am broke. Once again, is an article I wrote in 2016. Going broke and not saving. A lot of people say, "Oh, you shouldn't save. You should grow assets." Yeah, that is true. Or in the case of you know, Robert Kiyosaki, the racist financial guru now, um, he says you should save God's money, not save money. And it's like, okay, fine, yeah, okay, yeah. It works in a magical fantasyland world, but in my world that I know of, you need to save cash. You need to save money. Why? Because in order to buy those assets, if you don't got credit, if you don't have the ability to get any type of capital, you have to use your own capital. And if you ain't got no capital to use, duh, you ain't got no way to get no capital to buy nothing or do nothing. So savings is very, very important. It's so important. I literally created my own plan to basically get more capital from savings, reaching goals. I'm writing a book about it. I got 2 chapters left. I mean, it literally has changed my life. You're not listening to them people and, saving actual cash in a bank, not under the mattress. Saving money has saved my life. From step 1, $1,000. Step 2, 2,000. Step 3, 4,000, and 8,000 on step 4, and going on to over $1 million. It's 11 steps. Changed my life. I've saved more money than I've ever saved in my life. Following that plan, I've done more than I've ever done in my life. Following that plan is something I created one day that I was just fed up. I was in the middle of the night. I was sleeping literally on the basement floor mattress, on a mattress in my sister's house. I came up with that plan. I said, you know what? It's very simple. It might be very difficult, but I'm going to be honest with you. It's not been that damn difficult because it's very basic. I start with 1,000, and I just, every time I get that step, I get a reward. And then what it does is I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to do? I need to get to the step, at least step 1. Then I need to get, you also set a date for the time that you're going to reach that goal. And what you're doing is you each goal, you're trying to basically get to that step. You're thinking about the reward. You think about getting to the step. And then you also are motivated to get there. And the money that you have, you're not touching it. It's only for you to get to the next step. You're not spending too much money. You're just basically trying to get to the next step. I haven't done a video. I gotta upload it, but I've already got past step 3. I've already got over $4,000. I just haven't done a video yet. So I'm gonna upload that video as soon as possible. But yeah, it is what it is. I just can't say it no better that you just need to save money. You need to save actual money. And then also you need to pay your debts off. I was on a live stream, I think Amir, his show. He had some guy by the name of CJ, and they were saying that they were aliens because they paid off all their debts. They don't have enough money to buy a house. They did mention that, but they said they were aliens because they had no debt and they had a flux of cash saved, but no debt. And it's like, pretty much they weren't having any type of other ideologies or anything besides just paying all your debts off. But I ain't gonna go into that too deep, but it's like basically, yeah, you need to allocate at least $400 or $500 I would say towards your debt every month. You're not just savings going past step one and then step two and step three and step four and then not paying. You get notices in the mail and you don't have a debt snowball plan. So that is part of it. But going back to the article, step three, going broke and not saving. That is a big problem. It was a problem back in 2016. It's a problem in 2020, definitely. A lot of people do not have savings. People don't have the amount of money, not let alone they don't have the amount of money to pay all the expenses if they lose their job. They don't have even $1,000 of savings in their account. Just 1,000, not 5,000, not 10,000, just 1,000 measly dollars. They don't have it in their account because they're living check to check. Because it's just things are very volatile. They just don't have it. They did not take the initiative to put it in there, or in a lot of cases it's damn near impossible or very difficult for them to just put $1,000 and set it aside. But the thing is that going back to the debts and then your current bills, you definitely you're paying those, but you're trying to get to that step. You're trying to do like me. I have a regular day job, but at one time I was working another job on the side. I was doing gig work on the side so I can get some more money so I can get up those steps. And when I'm working, when I'm out and about, I'm thinking, damn, how can I get on step 4, 5, 6? When do I think? I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to sleep at night dreaming, damn, when do I think I'm going to get on step 8 or step 5 or 6, so I can get that that Porsche truck, that I want for my reward. These things is what I think about, and that comes from savings. But back then, going back to this article, I pretty much did not save. That was a problem. That was one of the biggest problems that I had. I did not save. Like I said wrote in this article, a good percentage of persons don't have any savings at all. Half of the U.S. population don't have enough funds to cover expenses for 3 months without income. And I'm going to post this link here. This link I'm going to post in the chat. This article should still be up. This is what they said about most people don't have enough money to pay their expenses for 3 months if they lost their job or whatever to cover those expenses. It's the second step, yet it's the hardest, because as far as savings is the second step to financial, like basically well-being. It defies a lot of natural instincts. Animals tend to live day to day, no concept of tomorrow. Although animals in the wild tend to even be smarter than humans, because even a dog buries a bone or carcass of food to be eaten later. Squirrels stockpile food for long winters. And it's just people do not save a lot of times because it's just, they just don't really think it's important or don't care. I mean, at one time, I just had problems with saving because I just didn't have a plan. I knew it was important for years, but I just didn't have a plan. I have that plan now, and that plan is working for me. And like I said, it's called the Millionaire Savings Plan. And You know, I've gotten videos on it on my channel, and it's changed my life. Literally changed my life. So, yeah, moving along. Life is an emotional. Life is emotional. Spending money is also emotional. When people are sad, they throw logic out the window. When people feel good, they throw logic out the window. Corporations are fully aware of that and push buttons of products, push a bunch of products to cash in on profits using persuasive, hot button marketing schemes to get you to spend. And life setbacks and calamities just makes matters worse. A divorce, flat tire, an unexpected firing, canceled contract, market collapse, or even in this case, a pandemic. Okay, I mean, who thought that coronavirus was gonna come in, or any virus was gonna come in and just shut the whole economy to, well, just shut everything down. The economy wasn't shut down, but a lot of companies took a nosedive because of this virus. And if you notice now, people don't even talk. They don't even call it coronavirus. You see how they programming people to say COVID-19, COVID, like it's like it just like it sounds like some dude like from the UK or something. Hey, have you talked to COVID today? Did you see COVID in Trevor? They don't want to say, they don't want you saying coronavirus no more because the virus in there, because it's actually a virus. So everybody's saying COVID now, sounding all eloquently and nice and shit. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, the article reads more. Yet excuses are that just excuses. Um, And Benjamin Franklin said, "A penny saved is a penny earned." Money is green when you have not, when you have your physical. Okay, it says money is green, and when you have no money, your physical life stops. And what I was saying with that is not physical with a PH, is physical as in monetarily, monetary language, physical, FISCAL. So yeah, I mean, when you don't have any money and your physical life, your physical uh pretty much finances that you have is pretty much just messed up, just like the physical body. Your physical body, if your body is not, you know, in shape and well rounded and fundamentally sound, you're, you know, unhealthy. So if your physical FISCAL life is not in order, then your financial life is not in order. So that's what I meant by that. But you pretty much have to stop everything when you don't have any money. And you know, like, you can only go if you have money, you know. So it's like red light, green light. So I also wrote, no savings means you are closer to no money, and typically day to day or check to check. Living for the moment has, and this is what I'm saying as far as myself, living for the moment has cost me a lot. It's too embarrassing to even mention, even downright sad, but that's the wonderful world of capitalism. A lot of things are determined by capital, and it favors those with capital. So no savings lead you down the road to the land of you're no fun because you don't have any money. One thing I can say is, if you want to get rid of friends, instead of staging a death, stage a brutal bankruptcy where you lose all your money. You'll lose all your friends that were only around because you had a lot of cash faster than Usain Bolt. Because people hate broke people worse than misers who don't have anyone, um, any that who don't give anyone any of their money. Like, I mean, yeah, it's real. Like, people hate a broke dude worse than like a miser. Like, I mean, like, because a miser, they know they got money, but a broke dude, they just ain't giving you none. But a broke dude, he has no benefit, to you, or a female, broke female. They, what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, people do not. A lot of people don't want to be around broke people. I mean, they made songs about it. This, then, it just is what it is. So um, the number two reason why I am broke. Back to this article, low expectations, and it reads: some people don't want to be rich. You know, I have heard people near and dear that didn't strive nor care to be rich. Yeah, I mean, it's people that I've heard, you know, exes, personal family members that said, "Man, I just don't want to be rich. I don't want to deal with all of the blowback from that." And they just pretty much did not have any ambitions to be rich. You got to hear that, and it really is just really kind of just a lot of people probably feel that way. It is what it is. Um, didn't quite. It's back to the article. Didn't quite understand the logic, but I think people have certain hangups about being rich or striving to be rich. Yet my expectations are that I don't want to be financially rich, although my wisdom doesn't value riches as I did when I was younger. I have worked around so-called rich people. Honestly, they just have more of what others don't. It's impressive, but I don't really care. Um, this is like, once again, this is 2016. I feel that I still feel that way. I really do. I mean, but at the same time, man, I still want nice things. I still have goals. I want a mansion. I want a Lamborghini. But yeah, I'm not really impressed like I was when I was younger. I remember when I was younger, when I was in high school back in like 90, from 94 to 98, I used to look at a Buick Regal on rims, like with sounds, subwoofers, like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Oh, I mean, it was just so like cool. Like, it was just like really, really cool. I mean, I'm like 14, 15 years old, 16, and I looked at this car just like, oh, it's amazing. A Cutlass Supreme, and it's like that car is like garbage to me now. I'm 39 years old. That car, a Cutlass Supreme, I don't give a. It's a garbage car. They don't even make Oldsmobiles anymore. I mean, that just goes to show GM's like, you know what? We're just gonna get rid of this. they had a business meeting, and it's like, you know what? We're gonna cut Oldsmobile out of the picture. We just gonna get rid of it entirely. And when I was younger, when I was 14, 15, man, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait till I get older. I get some money. I'm gonna get a Cutlass Supreme. I thought that was so cool, man. That car was like dope, man. But it's like, dude, they don't even, man, they don't even they don't even have Oldsmobiles anymore. There's no Oldsmobile dealerships. So it's just like, man, I mean, a lot of things like I don't really like anymore. Rims. I mean, it's some rims that I like car rims. I'm not into that. That doesn't impress me anymore. Sound systems, it's nice, but you can't really turn the volume up because you're gonna get stopped by the police. People gonna complain. I mean, it's just, it's not really necessary. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed by sounds of rims anymore. I'm 39 years old. I'm not. I don't even like old cars, like vintage classic cars. I'm not into it. I'm not into classic cars. I like new cars. You know, I like Teslas and exotic cars and um, modern cars for the most part. But to each his own. A lot of people are into that, and that's fine. But it just goes back to what I'm saying. When I was younger, I looked up to a lot of things that it was just like, man, it was just so awesome. It was just like, but it's like, nah. It's like get rich or die trying. Nah, I'm not trying to risk my life to get rich. Nah. If I nah, mm-mm, it's not that serious to me. But I ain't trying to get in no beef with 50 Cent. Cool album. I mean, I used to wear G Unit clothes and buy G Unit albums, all of them. But I'm not trying. I'm not trying to die trying to get rich. But yeah. Moving along back to the article. Um, Says, but that same zen, like understanding doesn't necessarily put cash into your pocket. It gives me a peace of mind back to no cash. And this is back to like what I was saying, part two of reason why I am broke, that article I wrote back in 2016 on my blog, Low Expectations. This article I'm going to post in the chat after this video. Yet, back to the article, yet I think it will help other ways that will lead me to positive results. What I'm looking for. But the threshold I used to follow that I'm trying to change is the lower expectations. Not having a quota, a very low quota, has landed me in the poorhouse. And yeah, I mean, basically, I had in my mind high expectations, but my day to day, like for example, I had a computer store. A friend of mine had he sold like soaps and body oils and lotions and stuff like that. He had a higher expectation than I had. His goal was like he was trying to get $10,000 a day or $10,000 a week or something like that. His expectations was high. My expectation was like to get like at least $100. You see what I'm saying? Like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, you could get a job and work and make $100, but that was my thinking, and that goes back to like I don't think like that. I have a plan. I have a goal. I have goals that I'm trying to achieve. I have dates, and it goes back to that millionaire savings plan. That is why I'm a better person. I have more money now. I have more successes now, and my job as well. That's a big part of it. But that plan, it helps me I have high expectations. I have dates that those goals, I'm trying to achieve those goals. And I'm actually, like I said, I've not done the video yet, but I've just I passed step 3 months ago, where I had over $4,000. But I'm gonna upload that video. But those low expectations have put me in the mindset of that, I'm just have low expectations, so low results. It's just kept me poor, kept me broke. But I've changed that quite a bit. So the last, if not least, number one reason that I am broke, and even still to today, because nobody sent me $1,000, 160 good people with a lot of money in their bank account they have not sent me $1,000. So I'm still broke today. To 6/28/2020, still broke. So you know, today, even till from 2016, this is still relevant. Choosing fear over triumph. I always think to myself what my life would be like if I wasn't so shy. It's going back to being an introvert, and also just part of that is I'm also shy because with other people, just very reserved and getting to know people. I'm still shy. That's just something that just how I am. I can get out of it very quickly, but that is kind of been a detriment to me for a long time. But moving along in the article, would I have that fine woman in my life that I saw so many times that probably wanted me to talk to her, but I didn't know it, or I didn't talk to them because I didn't, I was so shy? Would I be a CEO of a company? Would I already be a millionaire or more? These are the questions that I was asking myself back in 2016 of, what would I be if I wasn't so shy? And those are the questions that are asked because I allow fear to set in many instances that I don't know were good or bad, or is a regret for pussies. Not following my first mind is a skill in which if you learn to use it, can net you a lot of gains. Oh yeah, I'm really on that now. When I think of something, I try to just go with it. I mean, not crazy, outlandish things, but when I think of something, I just go with it. When I think like, oh, you know what, I should just adjust this, or I should do this, or I just go with it. I just do it. Even if someone's telling me to not do something, or not do something, or do something different, I try to go with it, and I'm usually right when I do that. When I make my first mind, if you can learn to follow your first thought, your first mind, and know when to do it, you can. I mean, that is like the secret to success. Yeah, a lot of times fear overtakes logic, and indecision results into no gains or losses. It's one of the hardest things I struggle to understand. Yet some things you should be fearful of. So yeah, I mean, this is literally the article that I wrote back in 2016. And it's still relevant today, and pretty much, it answers the question, why am I broke? But once again, I am one of millions, tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people in the United States that are broke. I'm not the only one that is broke. I'm just one of the bravest of the broke to admit that I'm actually broke, because a lot of people like front like they're not broke. I mean, even me, I like nice things. This is real, okay? But I got a nice car. I got a lot of nice things, not too fancy, but people are still broke. They just don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. People try to pretend like they are not broke, but they actually are broke. They are very broke. But yeah. I mean, I'm not by myself. So I mean, I'm just brave enough to actually mention that I am. and then also actually make a point to do something about it and talk about it, because a lot of people just don't want to talk about it. They're embarrassed, because people look at trying to get money and stuff like that, or this whole thing now, get the bag movement, as a competition. And yeah, it is in fact a competition, because you if it wasn't, you could just get anything you want. It wouldn't be no issue. Everybody would have something, but it is a competition. This is not like back in caveman days where you just eat, and then it's like the animals. The animals' wealth is their food around them, and how much food is around them, and how much resources and food is around them. We don't live like that anymore. So even in that type of world, it's still competitive, But yeah, life is competitive, and people compete for wealth, for riches, and a lot of people are just X'd out of it because it's very, very competitive. It's not like you just get anything and then that's fine. Like it's a very competitive world that we live in. So in that competitiveness, most people are going to be on the losing end of that, you know, just because, So it just that is just the nature of how things are, So um, I mean, it's no it's no reason to even feel bad about it. I don't think, because I mean, basically, it just something that you can't change. Like it's like a meme that I see a lot. It's like it says you know you can't do anything if you are born broke or born poor. But it's not your fault, okay? But if you die broke, die poor, it is your fault, because you can't change your what I'm saying, life and try to make money. I mean, you got people, man, in countries where it's very extremely competitive. Like, for example, India, that are becoming millionaires, as well as billionaires in India, in Africa, in countries where it is like extremely difficult to make a living, but they're able to do it. You know, they're able to rise above and actually become wealthy. You know, even though it's extremely difficult. So it's not like it's impossible, but it's just you have to make it a priority. You have to, in order to basically solve a problem, you have to exist. You have to come to the notion that you do have a problem. If you don't wanna realize you have a problem, then I mean it's gonna be very difficult to work on it. I mean, it just goes without showing. So that's the reason that I call myself the broke genius. Why, just kind of just say that. But like I say again, I mean, it's as simple as where you live, where you choose to live, and literally like how much the cost of living in that particular area. Like I say, if you're in the East Coast, like New York, the cost of living is higher. So you'll probably need to have close to $1 million to actually not be broke, because the cost of living is just so high. Same with California, and in certain other areas. it just the cost of living is so high that you literally have to make a lot of money just to basically even just have a standard house, a standard uh just basic house. So it's like in my area, I say about $100,000 is about where you literally are not broke. If you got that liquid, I don't consider you broke. I don't consider myself broke. So if you have that as far as capital, but some people will say have a higher um expectation of that. Some will say um more. Less. Just in my opinion, that is what it would take for me to not be broke. And like I say again, that could be easily solved. 160 brave people, brave souls, $1,000, cash out. That's done. But anyway, you know, I had some time to you know burn a little bit. I'm gonna get off of this live. I hope this answers your question of like why you call yourself the bro genius. And hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Have a good one.